Guys, this is Shawn Ray from Muscular Development Unleashed. I'm coming to you to talk about some predictions moving into 2017. As you already know, 2016 is gone, and now we're headed into the brand new 2017 bodybuilding season with a lot of things on our plate. As you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger has introduced the Arnold Classic into China as of last year for the first time. I believe that's all the countries we're going to hit. We are in China, Australia, Brazil, Spain, Columbus, Ohio, and South Africa. And with that being said, we've got a few predictions. I'm not really good at predictions because I like to see things unfold in person live when I'm there. But one thing I will predict is that this year we'll have a brand new Arnold Classic champion. All the other champions that have won it are not competing in this year's competition coming up. So we'll have a brand new Arnold Classic champion to join the long list of guys before them, including the Hall of Famers Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Vince Taylor, Jay Cutler, long laundry list, Greene, the list goes on. Of course, we can't leave out Dexter Jackson. But heading into this year, the bodybuilding season should see the rise of a couple of guys. William Bonac, my bodybuilder of the year, aside from Phil Heath, served notice in 2016. We're going to see some big things from William Bonac. I believe he cracked into the top 5 of the Mr. Olympia Championships. It's going to be very hard for him to continue moving up because he's got a very short structure and a whole lot of muscle. There's not a lot he can do. I got criticized when I told his trainer, Neil Hill, out of Wales, that he's got to be very careful of his midsection. He's a very short, stocky bodybuilder with a very short Greene-like midsection. And if he doesn't pay close attention to detail, he's going to have the stomach distension, which is exactly what Arnold Schwarzenegger has been marking guys down and complaining about in our industry. So I think if we get a refined William Bonac can take out a guy like first year's runner-up in Shawn Rhoden. And I believe he can also creep up on an aging Dexter Jackson. Remember, this guy did beat a lot of these bodybuilders over in Finland to win the championships. He's won a number of competitions. He won the Golden State Pro. And he's climbed into that top 5. So he's going to be a guy to be reckoned with. Big Ramy as well. He's the force to be reckoned with. He's coming into his own. He's now starting to mature. He's still got to bring up those calves for me to jump on his bandwagon and look at him as a potential Mr. Olympia threat. But he is gargantuan. It just seems that there's constantly some ailment every year that he's battling and dealing with. He had a couple of visits to the hospital this year. Still found his way into the victory circle in Kuwait. Still found his way up there at the top 5 of the Mr. Olympia Championships. But if he's not healthy, a guy like William Bonac can definitely rise up and serve notice. Another guy coming into his own, we're going to see Dallas Mccarver early in the year, at the beginning of March at the Arnold Classic. And if he can get Cedric McMillan and put him in his back pocket and get that Arnold Classic championship, you will see the rise of Dallas Mccarver come September at the Mr. Olympia and its 52nd anniversary taking place right there in Las Vegas. So Dallas Mccarver is definitely one to watch out for. I predict he may upset the apple cart if Cedric McMillan does not bring his A game. And there's no reason why Cedric shouldn't bring his A game, but there is potential for young, growing, and developing Dallas Mccarver to climb into that first spot and walk off with an Arnold Classic championship. I would not be surprised if that should happen. One other surprise is we're going to start seeing guys that we're very familiar with start to disappear from the landscape. Of course, we saw the exit without a lot of fanfare. Tony Freeman, Johnny Jackson is now gone from the landscape. And of course, now you're looking at Branch Warren, who was totally invisible last year. And we may have seen the last of Branch Warren. We're looking forward to the return of Dennis Wolf. Dennis Wolf is going to have to come back strong and hard. The question is whether or not he can come back the way he once was. When you're dealing with a neck injury and surgery, it's a very scary proposition to come back and put that weight on your back and on your neck and demand the body to respond. I'd hate to see him get injured on his way back. But if he does come back, I'm not so sure he's going to come back as big or as full as we have seen Dennis Wolf. And we may have seen the best of Dennis Wolf if that's the case, because you cannot tiptoe your way around the heavy weights. You got to lift those suckers up and put them down when you're as big as Dennis Wolf. So we'll look for the return of Dennis Wolf coming up this year. I would not be surprised if somebody from nowhere came out of the pack to suddenly impress all of us. It's happened before. Do you remember a guy named Gunther Schlerkamp? He was kind of lingering on the fringe and suddenly, bam, jumped up there in the top 5 of the Mr. Olympia and knocked off Ronnie Coleman on the Grand Prix Tour over in Russia. Don't be surprised if nobody from nowhere comes out in 2017 and has a breakout season. I'm looking forward to that athlete. I've yet to see them. I think we'll get more of the same with Phil Heath. He'll be invisible for the majority of the year and show up and win his 7th Mr. Olympia, tying Arnold Schwarzenegger come September. Dexter Jackson, I'm going to predict right now that this will probably be his last season. Dexter Jackson will take a very slow off season, be an ambassador for the sport, continue to promote his Dexter Jackson Classics all around the place from Tennessee to Florida, and then show up at the Mr. Olympia, hit a couple Grand Prix, and I guarantee that after 2017, we probably will not see the Dexter the Blade Jackson, who has nothing else really to prove in the world of professional bodybuilding. He's won every contest, including the Olympia, Masters Olympia, 9 Arnold Classic titles. So there's really nowhere for Dexter Jackson to go but down. And again, if William Bonac brings it together, he may wind up creeping up on an aging Dexter Jackson. I'm not necessarily saying he's finished as a bodybuilder, but I think he's going to go out with style and grace, and he'll go out at the top of his game like all of us hope that he will do. And of course, there's rumblings that Kevin Levrone is back on the comeback trail still, and with another 9 months of training, he's going to transform his body. I'm predicting pretty much more of the same. I'm hoping that Kevin doesn't get hurt in the process, as usual. Had a couple of injuries last year, but he's squatting again. And little known fact, he had a bad back when he retired from bodybuilding. I'm hoping that he doesn't re-injure his back. For those of you that were not paying attention, we saw Ronnie Coleman at the Mr. Olympia with his walker, with the crutches and having 2 hip surgeries and the knee and the bum back and the bum neck and all that stuff. We don't want that for Kevin, but let the guy live his dream. We'll see what happens. I'll be watching like everybody else. Outside of that, I'm really curious to see who comes out of the USA Championships in July out in Las Vegas, and of course the National Championships in November. But right now, I don't see somebody on the amateur level that's going to break out of the pack. No big wow factors from 2016 that are carrying over into 2017. So I'm hoping we find someone. Maybe we'll get them coming from Kuwait. I know the Oxygen Gym in Badr Budai is churning out champions left, right, and center. It's a melting pot for people to go over there and train. You have to wonder how long the Dominican Dominator is going to hang around. He did find the victory circle over in Baltimore prior to the Mr. Olympia, but after the Mr. Olympia, he went downhill very fast. You got to wonder if that's the age catching up and if we've seen the best of Victor Martinez. And if not, he'll have to show us where he's at. Kai Greene, the X Factor. Remember, while Kai Greene didn't show up in the Olympia and didn't do the tour, he quietly went out about the business of winning 2 Arnold Classic championships. And so winning the Arnold Classic in Ohio and winning over in Brazil, it's no easy thing, as well as Australia. This guy is a legitimate bodybuilder, and so we cannot write him off. Actually, there's 3 Arnold Classics for Kai Greene. So if he chooses not to do the Olympia and continues to do the Arnold Classics, he can quietly rack up some victories and continue to build his brand. Kai Greene doing it very quietly, but how bad would we love to see him jump on that Olympia stage and give Phil Heath some fits and find out whether or not he can test his medal up against the big Rami and William Bonac and the guys. We want to see the best the Olympia has to offer. I'm hoping that happens. Hats off to Danny Hester. He did serve notice as to what a classic bodybuilding physique should look like. One has to wonder whether or not he will repeat as that contest lineup gets deeper and deeper and more bodybuilders are getting actively involved in that classic bodybuilding championship. So, but as far as predictions are concerned, we could sit here and talk all day about the who's who and the what's what. I'm excited for the 2017 bodybuilding season to get here, and it will kick off in Columbus, Ohio, the first weekend of March, and Team Muscular Development will be in the house along with everybody else for the 28th anniversary of the Arnold Classic and big things coming in 2017. Happy New Year, everybody.